check the little button on the outlet. You know, well, well. Would you look at this? This is nobody in here yet other than myself. I would like to say thank you to all two people that are in here right now. Right before we get the game started, they're still waiting to kick off, so it should be a fun night. I mean, I'm in this until like midnight. So we got food coming on the way. We got drinks, constant. It's gonna be a good night. We got the Washington football team against the New York Giants, and the New York Giants is a team that I have known quite well. It was one of the teams that I grew up watching, and I mean, I was pretty excited to see this going on. Yeah, I'm fairly excited. Just trying to get this set up on my Patreon. You know. Oh, we're good right now. We're good. There we go. Yeah. So if you're one of the three people who follow me on Patreon, you can watch it on Patreon, or you can watch me here on YouTube. So there's a couple of people popping in and out of here. Still zero likes. Zero likes on the stream. We're almost 2 minutes in. And hello, love the show. Oh, well, thank you. EURIS. I'll respond to you. Thank you very much for saying. Hopefully, you stick around and watch the show because it's going to be a pretty good game. It's going to be interesting to see kind of what these two teams are looking to do. And I will be interested to see what this does, not only for the NFC East, because obviously Cowboys are in a position where they can win the division this year. It's pretty wide open, and as I'm saying that, we're about to kick off. We're kicking off right now. Giants are having the kickoff, so they're kicking to Washington right now. Picked up right inside of that 20. Not a bad return. They're a little bit past the 20-yard line. And one of the weird things is not only was this game on NFL Network, which I thought was interesting because in years past it hasn't been. But Taylor Heineke starting 2015 undrafted free agent from Old Dominion, played in the 2020 wild card game last year if you remember. Solid player. That's because their starting quarterback Ryan Tannehill, I believe, is having hip surgery. So should be an interesting. Let's watch this first play of the game. What a literally first play of the game. He throws it a little off. Taylor Heineke, that is. Almost an interception. I will be interested to see what they're going to do in this game just because they don't have such a great starter at their quarterback position. So will they be a heavy run game? Now I have yet to even talk about fantasy, right? Fantasy for this game is something that I'm involved in. I have Terry McLaurin in one of my leagues. And as I say that, with about 14 and a half minutes left, Terry McLaurin gets his first catch of the game. Now we're looking at third down. I mean, you kind of look at what the projection of the NFC East team is, or that conference is, I should say, division. It's interesting. A lot of teams could win it this year. 3rd and 3. Taylor Heineke running back. Oh, he trips. Oh. Who got that? Who got that sack? Taylor Heineke running to the sideline, as disgraced as she should be. I don't know what that last play was, but thank you for the one person who's in here right now. I really appreciate you coming and stopping by the stream. And as I was just talking about with Taylor Heineke, just kind of blew it. Just blew it right there on that situation. You're at 3rd and 3. You really don't need to pick up that many yards. Looked like they were playing off the ball. I didn't see how many they were actually rushing, but nonetheless, it definitely looked like they were. What do we got going on over here? You got people trying to make dinner and not knowing what the directions are. Oh, I hear something going on there. We are trying to make the yeah, go for it. Go for it. That's not loud at all. It's this little I don't even know how to describe it. It's uh one of those blenders that has top right here and it goes down like that. It's like a handheld blender. Yeah, so as we stand right now, we are looking at the first drive for the New York Giants. Daniel Jones career record is 4-0 against the Washington football team. And I mean, it does help for you to have Saquon on your side. And as speaking of Saquon, he is on my fantasy team. I've been trying to trade him to a couple of other teams. Oh, there's Maria. Hello, Miss Maria. But as I was talking about Maria, if you do hear your sister in the background struggling with the portable handheld blender, it's a big boy. But yeah, 1st and 10 with about 13 and a half minutes left in the first quarter. We're looking at they're pretty much back on their own 20-yard line. They're gonna have to put together a good amount of plays if they're gonna try and get in scoring position. I mean I'm thinking that they only get a field goal right here. Saquon first touch of the game. That looks like a 5-yard gain. Yes, second down. Come on. Come on. Let me see. Yes, obviously he went to Penn State where I went to school. Yeah, we all know that. 2nd and 5 now for Saquon. And the thing is, the big question coming into this year, especially with Saquon and the Giants, is obviously health. Because I saw earlier Kenny Galladay, like the number one wide receiver for the Giants, he was questionable for this game. And then obviously with Saquon, he's questionable. Oh, I believe Evan Ingram, their number one tight end, is hurt. He's out for this game. And so I mean, it will be interesting to kind of see what the passing game for the Giants will be, not only this year, but for this game, because obviously we know Daniel Jones, not the best thrower of the football, but I mean, once you have Saquon back this year, it will be looking extremely good in that running department, as we have a shotgun handoff with a fake, and there's a first down to none other than Kenny Galladay, who I had just talked. I don't know. Let me check my where's my phone? Oh, down here. Gonna check my fantasy team because I'm in. Obviously, I'm a writer for Steeler Nation, and I'm in a league this year. So I gotta kind of check to see what these statistics are looking like. All right, Terry McLaurin 1 point. Dude, I don't have Kenny Galladay in my lineup. I have Terry McLaurin in his spot. So we'll see how this goes. But I mean, now 2nd and 8, about 11 and a half minutes to go. The Giants are now past the 50-yard line. Daniel Jones in the shotgun formation. Looks like they're heavy on that line. Looks like they got 5 pass rushers. Oh God, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. He's sacked. He's sacked. But yeah, back to what I was saying about my fantasy team. Not looking good. Not looking good. You can't hear the blender. Okay. Can't hear the blender. That's good. That's good. I'm telling you, the food that comes out of this kitchen, top notch. Top notch. But going back on a 3rd and 10, Daniel Jones is going to air it out. Ooh, Sterling Shepard with that. One of the players who's been on that team for a number of years. Now, Daniel Jones is 2 for 28 right now. Like I said earlier, well, one of the big questions for Daniel Jones is going to be his passing game. Because, I mean, obviously coming in out of Duke, not really a powerhouse in terms of college football. So you're going to look to see what he's going to be able to do. Doesn't have extremely high arm talent, but I honestly would have to say that he's more of Lamar Jackson than I would say an Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, we're not talking about caliber of player. Both players, Aaron Rodgers last year winning MVP, and I believe Lamar Jackson the year prior won MVP. So it's just two different, but Daniel Jones, he's much more of a runner than a thrower. I would say he's pretty athletic for being a Caucasian male, if I must say so myself. And literally, as I say that, Daniel Jones on 2nd and 6 gets a first down. Now with 9.5 minutes left in the first quarter, this thing is going by fast. And I mean, when you're looking at time of possession, that's what Saquon's there for. I mean, Saquon, as far as this game, hasn't really been that big of a factor. It's more been about Daniel Jones and his legs. But I mean, Saquon's not looking bad. Saquon is not looking bad. Just wonder how that knee's gonna hold up. Yeah, 8 play, 65-yard drive, lasting 4.5 minutes. That's not bad at all. Now they're inside of the 20 in the red zone right now. Saquon with a run. Oh God. Saquon just got the handoff and in the shotgun formation, went off to the right. Boop. And guess what? He got tackled. Not looking good. Not looking good for Saquon. Not looking good. Reminds me a lot of him at Penn State. They would run. They would have the same formation. They would always be in shotgun, never anything under center, which I didn't like because you should switch it up and be under center a little bit. But what do I know? What do I know? Nothing, right? I'm not in the NFL. I'm not a coordinator or a head coach or nothing. But I think if you switch up the formation, it might put the defense on something. Even like a quarterback sneak when you're like 4th and 1, there'd be certain times where you would have Trace McSorley in the shotgun, get the ball hikes to him, and he would run. Uh, and as Daniel Jones throws that last ball, misses, but he gets taken out by Chase Young. That's a pretty big hit. Wow. I think there's a flag there. Was there? For roughing the passer after the play. 1st and goal. They're on the 10-yard line. Daniel Jones is cooking them up right now. I might have to take back what I said about him being a better runner than passer. And then there's Saquon right up the middle. That's like a 2-yard gain. A 2-yard gain. But it's really interesting as Saquon right now is coming out of the game with about 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Huh. A lot of people on the sidelines. That's one of the things that I never really liked as I played maybe about 10 seconds of high school football. And when I say 10 seconds, oh, there's Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones runs it in for a touchdown. First score of the game with 7.5 minutes left. Exactly. Miss Kristen Yo. Well, in terms of the running game, if you do want to talk about the running game, I mean, obviously last year without Saquon, it was really an opportunity for Daniel Jones to not only show off his arm, but to show off the run game. Exactly. And I mean, they weren't as bad as like here in Pittsburgh now, wasn't as bad as the Steelers. And like their offensive line isn't really one of the best, even in their own division. But Daniel Jones, the combination of the running backs that they have this year with him and Saquon, I think it'll be pretty interesting to see like what kind of option plays they could run, like if they can see what they do. But like as I said right there, Daniel Jones running into the end zone, you gotta like to see that. That's gotta be pretty cool. Now, as we head into our first commercial break, I do want to expand on my last little bit of saying I played 10 seconds of high school football. So I am 23 years old at this point in my life. And when I was probably 16, 17, maybe 15, got to step up as leaders. Yeah. No, absolutely. I completely agree. Daniel Jones it's a conundrum because there's not really one good thing his tendencies don't really match up with his talent. Like he seems to run a lot more or he seems to pass a lot more than what you would like to see in certain situations. Obviously with that last play, I mean it was obviously a good idea to try and take the ball and run into the end zone, but you would like to see that Daniel Jones kind of use his arm more, especially once you have those players. I mean, they brought in Kenny Galladay. They have Saquon who can catch out of the backfield. They do have Kenny Galladay, as I said. They have a great tight end core, and then they also have Sterling Shepard. So it's not like they don't have receivers. It's just I don't know if I trust Daniel Jones to be a better thrower than he is a runner. And I think that's one of the big things that you have to look at as the Giants and say at what point, because he's got to be coming up on a extension soon. I mean, he was drafted 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. Can't think of it right off the top of my head, but he's got to be. He's either getting that 5th year option or they're going to try and extend him. And if I'm the Giants this offseason, I'm looking to see what's in free agency because with this upcoming draft class, there's really not anybody who I think could really fit into that system. I don't think they'll be able to get Spencer Rattler, and I have a bunch of questions about him. But and then other than that, what quarterbacks are there? Exactly, not too many options there. But it's just yeah. So yeah, when I was in high school, I tried out the football thing in southeastern Connecticut, and I decided after a couple practices, I said, you know what, cross country, not a bad idea, not a bad idea. Running, not fun, but not getting tackled by 180-pound seniors when you're 110 pounds. Not. I'm gonna take running and sweating a lot. As we get back into the game. And if you're asking yourself, what is this absolute powerhouse of a what is this absolute powerhouse of a media icon drinking right now? And I'm glad you asked. I am very glad that you asked because I'm drinking one of Pittsburgh's own. I keep it in this little Yeti, keeps it nice and cold because we're going to be here for a while, right? We might be here for 4 hours and I got to stay hydrated. Okay. So I am drinking Pittsburgh's very own Iron City Light. Okay, it's a light beer. It's crisp. Not a lot of hops or anything like that. Not very bitter. It's like there's like certain levels where there's Bud Light. Bud Light's like right here. I'm more of a Budweiser fan. Couldn't really tell you what the difference is between those two beverages, but I would say that this Iron City Light kind of is more reminiscent of that. It's got a lot more. It's not like water, like a Miller Lite or anything like that, but for 95 calories or 98 calories, whatever it has, it's really not bad. It's not bad. It's just easy to drink. We have been drinking some Blue Moons, which is always a fan fave, and overall, big fan of the Iron City because we are in obviously with the name of the Steelers. There's lots of steel. There's steel mills all over here. I'm definitely worried about the pollution that's going on in this city. And now, as we get back, 3rd and 4 with about 6 minutes left, Taylor Heineke running for his life so far in this game as he just throws that away. He's 2 of 3 for only 12 yards right now. I mean, their running back, Antonio Gibson, a lot of it or a lot of the stress is going to be on him. And so I just wonder what this whole situation is going to look like tonight. I mean, they're already punting. They just can't sustain drives. And in the pregame ceremony, there was I think two people. Yeah, I believe two people. I think Michael Irvin was one of them on NFL Network who came out and said pretty much the Washington front seven is going to be one of the biggest factors in this game because they're going to have to force Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley to stay in the backfield. Daniel Jones obviously with his running, Saquon obviously with what he's doing as a running back, but it seems to not really have that big of an effect on them. And then you have on the other side Taylor Heineke really just slacking for better sense of the word. But I mean, overall, we're now in another commercial break, and there's an ad for NFL Red Zone. Kind of upset that we don't get that here because you got to pay the extra package, you got to pay extra money for that. Yeah, absolutely, Miss Christine Yo. Sorry, I'm not trying to mispronounce or be disrespectful or anything right like that, but I do agree. And I'm probably going to say this multiple times tonight. Like Daniel Jones isn't the best quarterback in the division, and so I think the question is, do you move on from him now, or do you want to move on from him in 2 years? I don't know what they're going to be in terms of the draft placement. If they're going to be a top 10 pick or not. So I think they're in a weird spot, kind of like where the Steelers are. Steelers are going to be relatively good this year, and oh, a nice commercial for Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. Or it looks like just a man. Nick Saban is something else. A football life, Nick Saban. That'll be interesting to watch on NFL Network. Wow, wow, wow. But yeah, anyways, as I was saying, Daniel Jones is an interesting one to watch because you look at where the Giants are going to be going in the next couple of years. It's pretty much Saquon's franchise for the most part, right? And I really do feel like they're going to have to go out in free agency and get a player. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of comparisons to Eli Manning, and there's definitely an argument to be made there, right? And I think a lot of it has to do with not only him looking kind of like him and him having pretty much the same college coach, but his style is like a more modernized Eli Manning where he doesn't have a super crazy arm. He's not super talented with his arm, but he's just really kind of mediocre, kind of mid as some of the kids would say. And I mean, on that first play coming back from commercial break, Daniel Jones 2 feet away from him throws the ball to Saquon Barkley, and it's off target. He was getting a lot of pressure, and now as we come back, a player on the field is injured. Looks like centered. One of the offensive linemen, number 65 for the Giants. I mean, their coverage can't get much worse. They're really not going to face a D line much more tough than this. It'll be interesting to see, kind of what's going on. You know, what? I don't know if you guys are watching the game right now, but there's this DoorDash commercial, and this guy is buying alcohol for his dog. That's where we're at in America. That's the standard of advertising and public relations in the United States. It's really interesting. I do wonder what kind of money are they paying for these spots right now? Like for obviously we know for the Super Bowl it's like for 30 seconds or a minute airtime it's like however many millions. But for like a regular game like this, what is it? I might go with like 300 grand for a full minute. I got no idea. But I can only imagine what it's like because they know that a lot of people are gonna be watching, and so they're gonna be like, "Give me that ad time, give it to me." And so I don't know. I don't even know how you would even decide how much it's really worth. Does it just go to the highest bidder, or is there somebody who's like, okay, this is how much the time is worth based on the people who watch the game? I don't know. Hmm, It's Candace Parker. Yeah, Candace Parker. Impossible is nothing. Adidas. As we get back to the game. Oh, a stretcher. Oh, that is not good at all. They're not going to show us the injury? I think they're saying that he moved over to left guard. Not good. Not good for the Giants. With 6 minutes left in the first quarter, it's not looking good for them. I do wonder what they're going to do with their protection now. Because I mean, so far in the game, I can't read that from here. I got bad eyes. Oh, back to commercial. This Drew Brees commercial and Calais Campbell commercial is quite interesting. They re- ah ah. Hey, Kristen. Oh, books and betches. Well, hello there. I am honored to be in the presence of another famous broadcaster, I might say. Another famous broadcaster. And I know, like it's hard for me to take a break out of my busy schedule to sit down and do something like this, but I just thought I would just give back to the fans and just show a lot of gratitude for the two people that are watching right now. We are currently 29 minutes in, and I really do appreciate a lot of people. I got a couple people over on the Patreon live stream. So to those people who there's like a 5 second delay from YouTube over to Patreon. So just thank you. This is so far. This is pretty fun. I've gotten to tell a couple stories so far. Mainly, oh, Kristen's internet busted. Yikes! It busted just like the Washington football's team coverage right on that quarterback run by Daniel Jones. That was That was an interesting one to see. He barely even got touched going into that end zone. But we do got a very